We are the same, understood by none, feared by all, yet protected by someone, by our power. Welcome to our new world. Our new age begins now. Quote, Shadow King. Showdown with the Shadow King. May Storm leads her team of mass mutants in a climactic battle against Shadow King. But the confrontation leads to a huge rift between best friends May Storm and Armor. Ultimate X-Men Volume 2, Issue 12. A diabolical genius known as the Maker used time travel to create his ideal Earth by systematically preventing anyone from ever becoming a superhero, except for those on his secret Maker's Council, whom he stationed to rule over different regions of the world. Unrest exploded across Hai no Kuni, land of the sun, after social media revealed a cult called the Children of the Atom forced its members, superpower mutants, to undergo cruel experimentation. The ensuing media frenzy drove the cult underground, leaving the members lost until May Igarashi Maystorm gathered them in masks right before they were attacked by Shinobi Kagigama Shadow King. But the Shadow King was only interested in Maystorm's connection to Hisako Ichike, Armor, whose current focus is working with Nico Monroe and Mori to find their missing friend Natsu Tsukishima, an unwilling member of the cult who disappeared after accidentally killing her mother. Yukio, the content creator whose coverage of the mutants and the Children of the Atom is slowly but surely going viral all over the world, is streaming a battle between the Secret Society X-Men and the Children of the Atom. The battle takes place where Storm, the pseudo-leader of the Secret Society X-Men, takes on the Shadow King and the Children of the Atom. Yukio's coverage also features mutants battling against anti-mutant protesters. Things are escalating so intensely that people are beginning to ask some very important yet uncomfortable questions. Why are the mutants and protesters allowed to fight? Where are the authorities in all this? Does the government have a stake in the Children of the Atom? And of course, the truth that the Emperor Sunfire is part of the Maker's secret cabal, the group that manipulates the world behind the scene. This will undoubtedly put Yukio on the radar and in trouble with Viper. As Maystorm takes her first steps towards becoming a superhero, she is walking when she is confronted by the Shadow King. He says, Maystorm, is that you? Do you think yourself a protector capable of defending the Children of the Atom? Your kindness makes you weak. You're no match for Hisako. She's not simple like you. She belongs by my side. Don't stand in my way. Maystorm says, why do you care so much about Hisako? The Shadow King responds, she is my soulmate. He continues, and what is she to you? What are you to her? Nothing. So why do you care? As the battle begins, the Shadow King's dark tendrils lash out, trying to ensnare Maystorm. She uses her powers to even the fight, unleashing a powerful gust that blows away many of the Children of the Atom. Then, focusing her attention on the Shadow King, she summons a windstorm and defiantly answers, because she is my friend. After the battle, Maystorm says, there's that house, the weird boy and the cat, the one that scratched me. It was after that scratch that her powers first manifested. Shinobi Kageyami had once told Maystorm that she was his neighbor. As she knocks on the door, a woman answers. The mother asks, can I help you? You must be a friend of Shinobi's. Maystorm responds, yeah, that's me. Is Shinobi home? The mother smiles apologetically. I'm so sorry. He just stepped out. He should be back soon. It's so cold out. Why don't you come wait inside? Maystorm goes to Shinobi's room, opens the door, and finds a shrine dedicated to him. She remembers how he used to jump between all the shadows. The majority of the pictures in the room are of her friend Hisako. From behind, the mother speaks. I knew you were no friend of Shinobi. You're with that Hisako girl, aren't you? Since she showed up, my Shinobi has changed. All this obsession is because of her. Just when he was finally becoming a good boy, Maystorm turns to her and says, you're crazy. At Iridori High School, Nico Monroe and Mori are trying to conduct a magical ritual to track down their lost friend Natsu, who is undoubtedly in terrible danger. Nico says, I brought this book from Natsu's room. Perhaps it has something to show us. As the magical ball begins to glow, Mori exclaims, hey, I see Natsu's iPad. Nico Monroe says, that's good. It's telling me she's alive. Suddenly, the symbol of the Children of the Atom appears. Mori questions, is that where Natsu is? Nico hesitates and says, something's not right. At that moment, the Shadow King emerges, shreds the book. The Shadow King says, well, hello there. What excellent timing. I'm looking for someone. I think you know where she is. Mori screams and runs after the Shadow King. Mori yells, this is all your fault. Where is Natsu? The Shadow King smirks, grabs her head, and questions, you? Nico Hisako pulls Mori away from the Shadow King and goes head to head with Kageyami. The Shadow King sends shadowy energy directly into her head, and he drops Nico to the ground. Mori helps Nico to her feet. Suddenly, Nico says Hisako's in danger. Come on, back to my place. I just hope my spell conceals his power long enough. Hisako is sick and doesn't feel well from everything that's been happening. She is at Nico Monroe's apartment and says maybe I should have gone to school with Nico and Mori. As her mom tries to check in on her, there's a knock at the door. The Shadow King, Shinobi Kageyami, has found her. Kageyami says, Hisako, I found you at last. You dropped this. She looks at him confused and questions. What? Hisako remembers when Kageyami transferred into the middle school and suddenly everything comes back to her. Shinobi says, you always forget. That's why I decided to toy with you. I didn't count on Tsubasa protecting you. That needed to be dealt with. It took longer than I wanted. Tsubasa had given Hisako Omamori, a kind of Japanese protective charm. Her friends were making fun of the Omamori, calling it strictly old lady fashion and claiming it must have been from her grandma. She dropped it to the floor. Shinobi picked up the Omamori and handed it to Hisako. In present day, Hisako said, if you hadn't done that day, the Shadow King responded, did you not think Tsubasa would be hurt denying his gift like that for no reason other than your friends not finding an Omamori fashionable? Or do you simply not care that you hurt him? The Shadow King continued, have you ever seen the look on a person's face the moment they realize they've been betrayed by someone they trusted? 1 month later, Tsubasa took his own life. The Shadow King says, Hisako, cease fighting yourself. Your trauma is not who you are. You and I together can remake the world the way it should be. Hisako questions, what are you talking about? As the Shadow King grabs Hisako's arms, she is shown an image of Tsubasa dead from hanging holding the Amamore. The Shadow King uses the black shadow energy to slowly encompass Hisako. Hisako asks, did Tsubasa really kill himself? Kageyami responds, he came to me for advice after you shunned him. You meant so much to him, and you hurt him so deeply. He was tormented and didn't know what to do, so I helped him, just as a tiny mental suggestion. Still, he was the one who did the deed, so yes, I would say he killed himself. With Hisako shunning him, the Shadow King planted inklings of suicide into Tsubasa's mind. The Shadow King says, enough of playing the tragic hero. That's not Hisako I want, the one who is fit to stand by my side. Show me your shadow. Shadow energy begins to encompass Hisako. The Shadow King says, you feel it growing, don't you? The darkness inside. Don't fight it, embrace it. The sky grows dark as black energy flows through Hisako. Everyone looks up to see what is coming. Darkness. Tsubasa is dead due to the influence of a stalker, Shinobi Kageyami, the Shadow King, who believes Hisako is his soulmate. Tsubasa, her friend, also had feelings for Hisako, but she shunned him, and he felt it deeply. Now her protector, the armor, takes on a corrupted shadow form, eerie, similar to Kageyami's premonitions. Kageyami says, there she is at last, my Hisako. Hisako whispers, Tsubasa, forgive me, it was my fault. The Shadow King declares, we are the same, understood by none, feared by all, yet protected by our power. Welcome to our new world. Our new age begins now. Her new armor, now darker and more sinister, stands as an evil force, protecting Hisako. Next, Ultimate X-Men Volume 2, Issue 13, The Mutant New World Order. The start of the second year of the Ultimate X-Men. Chaos erupts as former children of Adam rise up against the society that used and abused them, just as tensions between Armor and Masor comes to a head in an explosive confrontation.